I've started playing Destiny 2 roughly when the game went free to download on Battle.net for 3 weeks, and pretty much since day one there was this one activity that enticed me like no other: Gambit. It was something unique, something I haven't seen before in a similar style, and I got hooked on this PvPvE mode really fast. I still remember getting the original Dredgen rank, getting the Ghost Shell, the ship, the original Malfeasance quest. Those were all great time. I remember getting the Reckoner title, which now will view me as an insane asylum patient in the eyes of the community, but I do wear it with pride, still hovering over my Gambit Prime armor sets from time to time. Gambit was released with Forsaken on September 2018, and now it's April 2023, and while the mode has undergone a lot of changes in the last 5 years, I feel like recently there's been this silent treatment from Bungie regarding this game mode, and that's what I want to talk about. Let's rewind just a little bit. It is Witch Queen. It is February 2022. Gambit has received a lot of significant changes to the game mode, from the moat economy, to the heavy and special ammo drops, to invasions and primeval. Basically everything was overhauled and improved. And putting it into retrospect now, I would say it was a really nice change overall for the game mode. But since then, more than a year after, we had close to nothing. The only significant event after that was an introduction of Gambit Labs in April 2022, which relied upon stealing motes from the bank as an invader, a perk which was available for Tier 3 invaders in Gambit Prime. Gambit Labs was shortly discontinued after. Close to Witch Queen's 1-year anniversary, Joe Blackburn and team pulled out a 5,000-word document regarding Lightfall and the year of 2023 and what it's going to entail for us as a player base. It was a very well written and solid article, don't get me wrong, highlighting many things with the game that can be improved. However, searching up the word Gambit yielded zero results, and that goes for every article following it as well. I find it fascinating how in the article called Bringing Challenge Back to Destiny, they had a separate paragraph that was titled No Activity Left Behind. When I saw the title of that paragraph, all muscles in my body simultaneously combusted, and I had to be driven to a hospital. That's how excited I was. Continuing the read from the hospital bed, I found out that the paragraph was about Dares of Eternity, Wellspring, Lost Sectors, Nightmare and Empire Hunts. This is absurd. It's so strange to see no support or even a mention of a game mode that is supposed to be on the same level of ritual activities such as strikes and Crucible. At least it requests the same amount of time and completions as the former through the seasonal challenges tab, which rightfully upsets some players. Let's read some posts I found on the most constructive subreddit to offer feedback that I found just within this month alone. This post from a user Interactive Cream says, "The grind for the Immortal showcases what a good reward could do for an activity like Gambit. Playing Gambit recently has reminded me how much fun it can be. In my honest opinion, Gambit feels pretty good to play right now, but the rewards and maps are the most hurtful part, because I know how many weapons and armor pieces, even just sunsetted ones, could add to the playlist for things like focusing. I would love to see some, if not all of that stuff come back for legacy focusing. There was some really cool gear there before, and see it return to the game would make me very happy to grind the heck out of Gambit again. Maps are another topic, but in fairness I think some more love to Gambit and what we can do within the game mode is just as important as what we can get. What do you think?" The next post is from Economy Function, which says, "I'm done pretending that Gambit is bad. I have spent many days grinding Gambit, and I think that Gambit should finally get an update." The next one is from Captain Kondo. "Gambit is quickly becoming my favorite activity. Very few turrets, no champions, no threshers, no drop pods, no forced power reduction. I get to slap on whatever I want and shoot stuff. Good times." The next one is from Ice. Yeah, I'm just gonna say Ice. "I miss the Dreaming City Gambit map. There, I said it. Every time I load into the same 3 maps for Gambit, I think about the Dreaming City map we lost for no reason. The Dreaming City is still in the game." And the last one, just from 5 days ago, that inspired me to do this entire video, was from Jarrow is the best Robin, saying, "Staying silent about Gambit doesn't result in an answer about its future. On August 4th, 2021, Joe Blackburn taught us in a tweet that long term we want to get people working on new maps. Well, I think it's quite obvious that we're going to hit the 2-year mark with no results from that tweet. I know game development is hard, but I think 2 years is enough to make a new map or even reprise one of the old maps. As of right now, it seems like there will be nothing for Gambit during the year of Lightfall. This will cause Gambit to have gone 5 years without a new map. The people who are upset are completely justified, seeing as we were told something basically 2 years ago with 0 results. At this point, I'm sure I and many others really just want to hear an update on that tweet. I think people will be completely okay if Joe or someone from Bungie said that it's not happening anymore. If there are plans for Gambit, I think at least giving people a time frame for when to expect news on it is fine. We know Season 23 is supposed to be more core playlist focused, so if there's some kind of plan for Gambit in that season, then why can't Bungie just say expect info on Gambit closer to Season 23? Or if the plan is for post-final shape, then just say expect info on Gambit soon. All this frustration could be avoided with a single sentence from Bungie. So, with these posts, we have established that Gambit has been getting strong silent treatment from Bungie, but in order for this video to come to fruition in any way, let's offer some proper constructive feedback that we can produce over the research we've done today. I suggest going with the strategy I call Let Gambit Be Trials. In summary, this approach entails enabling Gambit to be similar to Trials in terms of its rewards, where the weapons are on the power level of Immortal or Bygones could be dropped or guaranteed at a certain rank up from Gambit and only Gambit, but they would still have weight and value in high-end PvP and PvE activities. This would bring a lot of attention and numbers to the game mode, as players would feel like they have something to chase. One of the most recent additions to Gambit's weapon pool was the 180 hand cannon Truss, which I was very excited to get my hands on, although unfortunately 180s and hand cannons in general don't really shine in today's meta comparing to how snappy and lethal they were back in when Truss was first introduced. Basically, adding a weapon or two that would rival its similar archetypes from other sources would breathe some fresh life into the player count. In addition, I do feel like Gambit is in a good state right now mechanically. Most of the matches feel balanced as long as people know what they're doing. Some invasions can feel a bit unfair with some particular weapons, but there are their own counters. Really, the only thing I saw people need is just more of Gambit, more maps, more labs, more interesting additions and experiments. I have to say that the Gambit maps page on Destiny Wiki has to be some of the saddest wiki pages to exist. I can understand vaulting Kel's grave, I can guarantee that no one misses it, but people have been itching to bring back the Dreaming City map. It's mad to see that the last new Gambit map was received during Season of the Drifter, which was more than 1500 days ago. We don't want to have another Team Fortress 2 effect, right? I really feel like there's no reason to keep the Dreaming City map vaulted, as Dreaming City itself is still very much in the game, albeit it's not doing much, but it's still there. And seeing something like a Europa map, or a map inside a pyramid, or even a Neo Muna or a Vex Network Gambit map would be really refreshing for a player base of exactly 15 people. I understand that a fresh new Gambit map is not done overnight, but 1500 days is quite a long wait. And lastly, if you allow me to put my tinfoil hat on, I would be very happy if we see some sort of instance of Gambit Prime back. I'm not saying to re-release the entire game mode back in its entirety in the same state. I don't think the game needs that thing back in full force, but the last Gambit labs, which brought back one of the Prime abilities partially, I would consider to be a success and a healthy addition. Perhaps we could see Gambit labs that allow collecting 20 modes again. That sounds so cool, especially to people who haven't had the chance to experience that sort of gameplay. In the end, my message to Bungie is just two things. Please, don't be afraid to experiment with this game mode. After all, this game mode is all about risk and reward, and I do believe there is a word for that. And second, I understand that with all of these leaks and threats and general state of the community feedback, it's been more and more rough to have clear communication, but please drop anything for us, a crumb, throw Gambit players a bone in a paragraph or two to clear things up in the Nest TWAB or something. I hope it's not too much to ask. Give my boy Drifter some love. Thanks. Peace.